Shalom, family, most high bless. I'm going to set the scene real quick. It's the Feast of Tabernacles in the so-called year 2022. Family got a tent set up outside of our house here in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. I'm like, man, you know what? I wonder where Tarshish is. And by Tarshish, I'm talking about the biblical Tarshish, like in the prophecy in Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, chapter 60 and verse 9. Surely the owl shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them. The first question you will want to ask yourself is, where is this Tarshish? And where can you see this mentioned? The Most High told Jonah to go to Nineveh to give them a message. Jonah 1 and verse 2. Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for their wickedness is come up before thee. But what did Jonah do instead? Jonah chapter 1 and verse 3. But Jonah rose up to flee to Tarshish from the presence of the Most High, and went down to Joppa. And he found a ship going to Tarshish. So he paid the fare thereof, and went down into it, to go down with them into Tarshish from the presence of the Most High. Now, so we got Jonah, instead of going to Nineveh, he's going to Tarshish from Joppa. Now, Joppa is on the coastal line of Israel. But one thing that you're going to notice is when we get into Solomon and the ships of Tarshish and the actual port that he built, it was in a different area. It wasn't in Joppa. This port was in Ezion-Geber. Let's read. 1 Kings chapter 9 and 26. And King Solomon made a navy of ships in Ezion-Geber, which is beside Eloth, on the shore of the Red Sea, in the land of Edom. So we got Eloth on the shore of the Red Sea, in the land of Edom. Now, you got two different locations here. Joppa is on the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. Ezion-Geber is right at the peak of the Red Sea, which is in the land of Edom. We got two different locations. But what did Solomon send his ships down there for? What was the purpose? 2 Chronicles chapter 9 and verse 21. For the king's ships went to Tarshish with the servants of Hiram. Every 3 years, once came the ships of Tarshish, bringing gold, silver, ivory, apes, and peacocks. Remember, the prophecy in Isaiah mentioned the ships of Tarshish alongside the gold and silver. Let's deal with this 2 Chronicles chapter 9 real quick though, because it mentions the queen of Sheba. 2 Chronicles 9 and verse 1. And when the queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon, she came to prove Solomon with hard questions at Jerusalem, with a very great company, and camels that bear spices, and gold in abundance, and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart. And Solomon told her all her questions, and there was nothing hid from Solomon which he told her not. So she heard about Solomon, so she came to see if Solomon was everything that people were saying. So she saw the house that he built. She saw how he treated his servants, so on and so forth. And she was blown away by it. Right? And she gave him a gift, or gifts, plural. 2 Chronicles chapter 9 and verse 9. And she gave the king 120 talents of gold, and of spices great abundance, and precious stones. Neither was there any such spice as the queen of Sheba gave King Solomon. Verse 10. And the servants also of Hiram and the servants of Solomon, which bought gold from Ophir, bought algum trees and precious stones. This place, Ophir, wherever this place is, there's a lot of gold there. They went there every 3 years. Let's look at some maps real quick, and let's see if we can find this Ophir and Tarshish on these old maps. We're going to go back with it. So right now I'm on a website called mapsofantiquity.com. I searched Tarshish, and it's a map from 1823 with Sheba and the countries remote from the land of Israel. Let's look a little bit closer so we can see these countries. Now, what I'm seeing is Sheba, I see Ophir, I see Uphaz, and I see the queen of the south. Look at this, y'all. And I also see gold mines and silver mines. Geographically, where is this? Because these names of these regions, they aren't called this anymore. Let's pull up a modern map and look at where these regions are. Well, look at that. Tanzania and Mozambique. This general area would be called Sheba. And also, if we look even closer, what do we see here? Tarshish. And not only can we confirm this with one map, I'm gonna put a bunch of them up right now. The book of Psalms, chapter 72 and verse 10. The kings of Tarshish and the isles shall bring presents. The kings of Sheba and Seba shall offer gifts. Verse 15. And he shall live, and to him shall be given the gold of Sheba. We cannot leave out this prophecy in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38 to be specific. Now, this prophecy is talking about after the 1,000-year reign, when all of the armies of Gog, Magog, Meshach, Tubal, Gomer, all of these Japheth nations coming against the children of Israel when they are in their land at rest. Sheba and Dedan and the merchants of Tarshish, with all the young lions thereof, shall say unto thee, Art thou come to take a spoil? Hast thou gathered thy company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold, to take away cattle and goods, to take a great spoil? And it says Sheba and Dedan. Where are these places? This is the place of Tarshish. And we see that silver and gold again from the prophecy of Isaiah. So obviously the children of Israel have made it back to their land with the silver and gold that was prophesied. Let's see what the Britannica has to say about this. It says in 1480, Sofala was visited by the Portuguese Pero da Covilha seeking gold, and in 1505 the Portuguese Pedro de Anaya occupied Sofala and built a fort and factory in hope of capturing the gold trade held by the Arabs. So at this time the Arabs was already there, right? The conquest of the town followed, the first governors of the Portuguese East African possessions being entitled captains general of Sofala. The Dominican friars established themselves in 1586 and directed from there their Roman Catholic missionary activities into the interior. Tome Lopez, who accompanied Vasco da Gama to India in 1502 and left a narrative of the voyage, sought to identify Sofala with Solomon's Ophir and stated that it was the home of the queen of Sheba. The identification of Sofala with Ophir, to which the English poet John Milton alluded in Paradise Lost. Look at this, man. Look at this. Now, I could stop here, but we're going to take it a step further. And I'm going to show you this word Ophir, and that its root is Hebrew. Not just any Hebrew. We talking about the holy tongue, the heavenly language for the vowels and all of that. And these men knew it. This excerpt is from a book called El Dorado of the Ancients by a man named Carl Peters, who was a German officer who was stationed in East Africa in a place called Tanganyika, which in modern times is called Tanzania. Let's read. It reads, "We must try and make clear to ourselves the meaning of the word ophir itself. For this purpose, I must point out that in the Semitic tongues, vowels are of no essential significance. The consonants, as the actual framework of the word, stand firm. The vowels fluctuate. Generally speaking, every word has 3 consonants. Look at this, y'all. The living Hebrew tongue had no vowel signs. In the 2nd century BC, this tongue became obsolete and was replaced by the Aramaean. The vowel signs were not added to the 7th century AD, when Hebrew had petrified to a purely academic language, as Latin is today. In Hebrew, the name ophir, therefore, we should not lay too much weight on the O and the I. In Genesis, the word is written, and in Kings, it's based simply on 3 consonants: the aleph, the phi, and the resh, or the a, the pa, and the ra in the ancient Hebrew. How it is originally pronounced by the Hebrews, we cannot know. Or can we? Let's read page 324 of this same book. We're going to start right here. It is, however, advisable with this fluidity to keep as close as possible to the consonants of the word. These are, once more, aleph, in the Hebrew regarded as a consonant, phi and resh, or a, pa, and ra in the ancient Hebrew, y'all. The root of the name written in English is AFR. Y'all, that's the first 3 letters of Africa. But let's keep reading. It says, this was pronounced in a guttural manner by the Semites, which may have resulted in more stress being placed on A by one tribe or more on O by another, while the third may have accentuated the U. One can instance hundreds of examples of such varying pronunciations in different districts from the living Semitic tongues. It is therefore immaterial whether the word was pronounced ophir or aphir or ophar or apar or aphir in different regions. On the other hand, however, the 3 primary consonants a, pa, and ra, or aleph, phi, and resh, are absolutely necessary for its recognition. Where this country AFR lay, we have now to determine. Hold on, we just found out where ophir is. I think y'all know where we going with this.
Hey, get ready for deliverance. In times, they surrounding us at all sides. Sin is at an all-time high, perilous time.